Woo-wee. Woo. The governor was like smoking hot tonight. What do you think? Smoking hot tonight. I just have to fan myself for real. All right, let's see. Hello everyone. What a show tonight. Lucas still owns the room. I love that, Jennifer. You know what? That would be a great hashtag for next week. Lucas still owns the room. I know it's kind of long, but that would be so great. Christina's like, he was on fire. Yes, this is why I need that fan. I need this fan to fan me off. Oh, all right. I'll come back to different comments as we come along. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Wow, you're from all over Washington State. We got all kinds of goodies. People from everywhere. Look at this. That man can bring out all kinds of emotions excellently. He's so good. He really is. He's so good. And he's so like authentic. And not everybody is. Certain people get this like look on their face. And we're just chatting while everybody gets in. And it's like it shows up in every episode. I had a theater, a community theater. I was just on the board and part of the team that put it together. And there was one actor that would get a lot of the leads, and he was really good, but his hand mannerism would always be the same. And sometimes the characters that he was playing almost felt the same. And we talked about that because he was so talented. And then he learned to switch it up. He was a young guy, and he did a great job. And that happens with a lot of actors. I won't say any names, but they're the same in every like part they play. Not Chris McNally. He is not. That's why I love him so much. He takes on a role. He is like different. And I loved finally getting to see angry Lucas Bouchard. Like he slapped that paper down. I wonder if that was Siobhan who put that in the direction, if it was written in the script, or if that was just a moment that they felt. Nikki's like, yes, Lucas was on fire. Nobody does it better than Chris. And he told us to watch the newspaper. And it's funny because I was expecting to see the word governor, and there was never the governor, but he slapped that paper down, didn't he? He was saying, well, Chris was fantastic. He is the master of emotions. He owns his scenes. It is so true. Arlene, what is Arlene saying? Chris is genuine in all his acting. He is. And he took no crap, the governor, this week. I loved it. He was the gov. Oh, by the way, my shirt says the gov on it. Okay, so he don't take no crap. I love that, Christina. So let's talk about some stuff. Hold on, because I'm at 10:05, I'm not the best podcaster. Hold on, things fell down. Okay. All right. So my notes, the gov. Yes. All right. Teresa, that's true. I saw that in the old interview. He always goes down a deep rabbit hole when he gets into his roles, and he does intense research every time. You are correct. He even said that again, especially with his most recent role. Yep. Chris and Lucas is unique. His eyes and facial expressions tell it all. And I think that's that heavy theater background that he has. All right. So wouldn't we love to see him in a play live? Ooh, they say, and it's true, the actors that are, theater actors, they say that it's electric. You feel the audience, you feed off of the audience for good or bad that night. But could you imagine if we were all in the audience? It would be like one great experiment. It was really a barn burner. Do you know barn burner? Do you know where that comes from, Jay? I love that. When you say that to me, it reminds me of, it's like my number one ultimate movie of all times. And it has Paul Newman in it, and who went on to be his wife, A Long Hot Summer. And that's what they call him, barn burner, but it's really his father. That's funny. Okay. Constance. Where is it? Constance. Good episode. Chris was fabulous. He was very angry. Don't blame him. I don't. Yep. Robin says he was amazing tonight. Chris was the MVP for tonight. Runner up, Pal the Pony. Thank you, Cindy. I hope you join us tomorrow and we could talk more about Pal the Pony. I would travel to wherever to watch him on stage. I know, Nikki, right? A long hot summer. Why isn't he in the long hot summer? He did Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. He should do the long hot summer. Oh my God. And Julie could be the proper, teacher with the bun in her hair. And oh, that would be fun. We already got like a gig for them. It would be a love fest. It would, Mary Mack. I know a Mary Mack in my life. Her last name is McIntosh. We call her Mary Mack. She's one of my favorite people in the entire world. I'm glad he finally stood up for himself. Yes. And I'm glad they wrote it that way. Yes. His favorite writing of scenes, I think, as he was able to show so many emotions. He was. And when I get to talk to him, we're going to have to talk about this scene. Okay. This episode, right? Yes. Janette will be back next week. Just saw the preview on YouTube. Sorry for spoilers. I didn't get to see it yet, but we knew she was coming back. All right. So why don't we start with Janette? I know you'll all notice that when Montague was out there and they were having that conversation, that somebody from far away through that sort of like little lens they gave us was spying. Someone was there all along. And of course, I love that they made Montague come to town because remember I kept saying him being the shooter or even behind the shooting was just too Captain Obvious. And because we as viewers, some of us are not always comfortable with making predictions, especially me, since all the weird things that happened in season 10 and even now, sometimes Captain Obvious is what we get. But I thought this can't be Captain Obvious. It can't be. And I'm glad that we were able to finally put that aside and narrow down who it could possibly be. And I like that we know it's not Montague, and moving on with that. So I know they're kind of making it look like it could be something that has to do with Janette. And then Lucas says, she's a grifter. I know her, but she just can't, she's not like very tolerant of violence. And it seems like that because she kind of goes like into hiding and runs away or does whatever. And I feel like that's just too Captain Obvious too. However, I wouldn't be surprised that she's coming back because it's like she represents the last hope for him. So they'll drag that on, and until we come up with a better idea of I guess it comes with Rosemary and Lee. We'll talk about them in a minute. They're a great idea and it pushes the storyline on. And I do remember, and I can't get rid of this, and I know a lot of you don't want to hear this, but I remember Chris saying that it's not about him having a love interest. However, there is a spark. There is a spark. We have not seen that spark. And I think the spark is going to come from Janette. I feel like that's something that the writers think we want as viewers for some reason. I don't know. Well, we'll see how that goes. So I'm glad she gets to come back on. I'm glad that we get to maybe just see more of eliminating her. And as some people are saying, could it be Wyman Walden? As I think I remember him saying, you will regret this. They all said that. Montague said, you'll regret this too. But remember what he said, and I like the logic in this writing. He's like, I'm a businessman. The moment, he became governor, that was it. And all of his, I'm looking at him now as, oh yeah, I could be in cahoots with you too. It's another opportunity. So it's not necessary, I'm going to shoot you, kill you kind of thing. So I think it's something a little bit more, I don't know, like to want to kill someone. It has to mean like greed or lust. You know what I mean? Like someone who is been hurt by you, like maybe so in love with you, but I don't think it's Janette, or hurt somebody. Like it could be if he was always connected with this grifting stuff, maybe somebody lost everything and they still hold that grudge. But again, I'm leaning towards Wyman and Dixon. That's what I'm thinking. What are you all thinking? I don't want Lucas with Janette. Avis, we don't even know how to explore that. You don't want it, but you don't even know what her character's like yet. We only see a tiny little bit, and who knows how they explore it. I'm open to it. I kind of actually am excited by it because I do love the actress. Do you think Montague is still behind the no other bids? I'm confused now. No, I don't. I don't think that he's behind that, especially the way he looked. I really think that he was all surprised. Do you think the character Janette would be a strong character to come back as a regular for Lucas? I don't know. I want to see more. I love their time together. I agree, Roxanne. It may be with Janette for Spark. However, I hope they wait until next year. Oh, yeah, they're not. They're not. No, 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 no. They are not making him have a relationship this season. That's not on the table. We already know that. And I think it's not on the table for several reasons. One of those reasons is it could take away from the storyline from the fans of the storyline of Nathan and Elizabeth. It could just be a separate, you know what I mean? They don't want to take away from that love story there. That's the big love story. Besides, of course, we know Mike and May, but I'm saying that's like that long-term thing that they're looking for. I love Janette with Lucas too, Roxanne. Eek was saying I'm open too. I'm open to anything. It might not work at all. It could be somebody out of left field. But again, I'm not the kind of person who wants everybody to be paired up. You know what I mean? But I find it kind of exciting because he's so against her. And I love, if I like a trope, there are two tropes that I like. One, when they've already have a history from childhood. I love that. And then I also like the trope of when they really can't stand each other. They cannot stand each other for very good reasons. And then they figure it out, like the enemies to lovers kind of thing. It's just my opinion. Who knows how that goes? I'm just saying I'm not going to be closed minded. We get so closed minded and we get so stuck in our ways that we get overwhelmed by negativity. I still see there are some of you that you've got nothing but negative, negative, negative things to comment about all of the time. And I have to say to myself, what does that do to our psyche and our mindset? We got to get to the point where we're like, okay, this is not changing. If I'm going to watch this show, I got to move on, you know? I like Janette. She's the spark. I think she is the spark, but it doesn't mean that that's who's going to be together. I don't know. Just excited to see where it goes. No, not Fiona either. It needs to be someone brand new. I don't know. Fiona could be brand new. She could be coming back with a whole new. I do love the character Fiona though. I love her. Remember when Lucas was waylaid outside Elizabeth's house, much like Wyman with the hat, who, yes, and yes. It was, you know how things repeat. It was very reminiscent of that. And he did get beat up good, didn't he? Yeah. I don't want Fiona. Lucas never had an eye for her, only Elizabeth. I think it needs to be someone new. Okay. So sometimes people don't really know the other person. And when they get to know the other person is when they're like, oh, so it's not like, you don't know. Janette is spicy and Lucas needs that. Yes, which is just how Fiona is. So when they first all happened and I was looking at things, I was like, oh, if they were going to pair up anybody, that would be an interesting pairing, the two of them. But who knows? I would like someone new for Lucas. Beautiful, talented, kind, honest, and truthful. Well, that would be boring to me, Nikki, because that's just like boring. That's my opinion. I feel like we'd be really repeating something. I want a little spice. And you know what? I said this before. When they created Lucas, and maybe not intentionally, and Deidre picks up on it, is like, you know what? Lucas just built differently. Talk about being on a pedestal. They put him on a pedestal. They made him like the perfect man with no dents. And people can't relate to that. Like he did everything perfectly, and that's okay, but that's not realistic. You need flaws. And I didn't like the way they went about giving him flaws. Let's say that. But I like that he has flaws. I like that we see the human part of them. I like that we see him slap that paper down. I like that he shows his temper. I like that he tells people off. Oh my God. I love the end. I loved how he made Rose. Now I love Rosemary, and I loved how he made her feel. And I like what he said to Lee. Are you here as her partner or her husband? And he's like, both. And let's talk about Rosemary and Lee. They're like, as long as we're reporting the truth. Whose truth? Your truth, because that's what you think. You know what I mean? The way they wrote that. And I'm glad they wrote it the way they did. And then they kind of circled back to show they don't always think they think they know what they're talking about, but in the end they didn't. Like, she didn't listen, she didn't give him an opportunity to do what he planned. And here's what he drove that home, and I think they heard that. He said, this is our hometown. Like, this is our home, this is our town. Like, you know what I mean? He's not looking at it as the governor, he's looking at it as he's a Hope Valley person. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to do this. This is important. And because you think you know the full story, you step all in it. And Rosemary felt bad at the end. She's like, yeah, again. And if you remember before, everybody was like, oh, Rosemary, she stuck her friend in the back. And Kathy and I disagreed. And we did a whole video about when Rosemary reported about what she knew, and she had discussed about the oil wells and the whole debacle with that. And then they made an agreement, don't put anything if I ask you. And I think that's wrong. I think she's a reporter and you can't ask that of her, but whatever, they made that agreement. But if you remember when they decided to publish Lee and Rosemary together, he's like, they have the truth. They should hear the truth. They did it again together. It's not just Rosemary, it's them together. I still think Dixon is behind the shooting. The guy with him at the saloon was tall, thin, and had a hat. Yeah, okay. The guy with him at the saloon was just a guy at the time. That doesn't necessarily mean much to me. I don't even know if that actor's coming back. I don't even know if they pay attention to that, We used to pay attention to major details. I don't know if they did. So anyway, so back to this Rosemary and Lee. I'm glad that she felt bad, because I love when the three men were waiting by Montague's bed. So we got Lucas sandwiched between Nathan and Bill, and they're all like staggered just so. That was great. Great directing. Had them all positioned. They're looking at him over the bed, and he's like, that story again? I did not shoot you. I had nothing to do with you. No. And and then I love when Lucas didn't want Elizabeth to be there. Like, why are you here? And Bill says to her, oh, don't worry, he's upset. She goes, no, he's right, because I am the one that announced it. I put his life at risk. See, Rosemary, you think you know everything, you and Lee. You're not Hope Valley. Everybody is. Sit down, take a seat. Lucas needs the room. I agree. Lucas was interesting when he was first introduced. Then they made him too perfect. Yes. And we need that Lucas who was, we had a bit of a mystery and a swagger behind him. Then all of a sudden he was like, Mr. Romance, Mr. I apologize first, Mr. Oh, you become before everything. Please give the man some reality. I want to see Lucas get testy with Nathan. I don't, Grammy Rose. We saw that. We saw that a lot. Gosh, we saw that so many times. I remember one time when he marched by me, he was like, save it, when he said, no, they're friendly now. And they've moved on with that. I'm not saying they're best buds, but nah, I'm okay with it. We've seen that testy. I don't want to see repeats anymore. I want to see some new stuff. He could be testy, but not with Nathan. That's an old story. He's like, not worth the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mr. Wonderful. Lucas needs the room. He does. We will know by end of the season who shot him, and he will have memory of it. Yes, it is something I think that does get resolved. And whoever is there to hurt, whoever was there to hurt Montague is there now. And I do know a gangster, rum runners coming through. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a connection with Lucas, but you never know, because the guy is from Chicago and Lucas does have ties in the state. So we'll see. I knew that Rosemary would turn on Lucas and print the story. I'm waiting for the day that Lee stands up to her and tells her to stop. Rosemary feeling remorse, probably not for long though. Nikki, Lee supported her, and I've heard Lee tell her off and tell her to stop, but he was all with it. She asked him, and he's like, no, I support you. He liked it. This is what he did before too. he was all in. So I think he puts her in place all the time. Puts her in her place all of the time. I'm glad Lucas spoke up. Rosemary needed that. Yes, and he slapped the newspaper on the table. Ooh, 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 ooh. So, hey, by the way, friends, before we go on a little further, I'm curious about when Lucas will remember more about his shooting. I don't think they'll keep it for episode 12. I think episode 12, they're going to put a different spin on a cliffhanger. I think episode 12 is also going to be the wedding for Mike and May. I think maybe we'll learn more about it in 11, only to have something else roll into 12. That's just my opinion. That's just my prediction and opinion. His emotional acting was awesome. He is so good. I just felt they are making Lucas too nice and forgiving with Nathan and Elizabeth. It's not realistic. But that's the thing. Remember, we say he's like built different. He's not best friends. And don't forget, if anything, if anything, first of all, it's not Nathan's fault that their engagement did not work out. And it was Elizabeth who chose, who's saying like it wasn't what she wanted. And he loves her. I mean, he loves her to a fault, actually. So he went through a lot. I thought the process was good. I did. I thought the process was good. And Lucas has moved on now. He has. Now we know what Chris meant when he said Rosemary and Lee would cause a problem for Lucas. Yes. And it caused cracks for him. So I love when Henry says, I got to ask, and he's talking to him again about Janette. And he's like, yeah, no, she doesn't, go with violence. Lee used to write some unkind things about Mike when he was mayor, but then made it right. Correct. He did. Remember he had a forked tongue. No, I don't think that would be the term. He was a piece of work in his writing, and it was funny. Remember, they wanted him to move and write for the bigger paper. That's how we met the cutie patootie. That would have been great for Fiona, but we don't know. Yes. And Rosemary had to talk to him. Lucas will probably recover some more memories when Janette comes back, especially if it's Wyman who's the shooter. Lucas deserves better than Lizzie. Please bring him someone new. We will. They will. Not we. They will. Lucas slammed the newspaper. Oh, yes. He was. Yes, it was great. Okay. So I was curious how often they would either write or use the governor in some way, shape, or form. So I took notes, and I know what I have down here. So I have a number in my head, and I'm going to go by my number, because by 9:09, I know how many times it was said. By 9:15, it was said again. And by 9:27, it was said again. And it wasn't said often. They used Lucas a lot. So Bouchard the bomb. Oh, Lily is such a sweetie. I wonder if she's related to one of the actors. You know what, Michelle? We're going to talk about her tomorrow at great length. And I had asked for Andrea to be on, but the person who's in charge as the publicist is so overwhelmed with being out of the office and back in the office and whatever, that for some reason, my requests have fallen to the wayside, even though I've asked again. I wanted to have Max on too, but Max is filming. So maybe we can have him on later. But I asked for the total end. I wanted Amanda and Ben on too. For the total end of the season, I asked for Chris's body to come on and talk to us after. I want everything to be done. And I also asked for Lindsay 4 times. I'm saying this, so whoever's watching, 4 times I asked for her to be on. 4. And I send questions ahead with the promise of you will be relaxed. This is a friendly atmosphere. I am not here to attack you. 4. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the charm. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Write down how many times you think that they used the gov or the governor or Governor Bouchard. Write it down. You will be a winner of a t-shirt that says the gov on it. And you can pick your color. You don't need to have white and pink. All right. So whoever gets that correct, what I think it is. And then while you're doing that, I'm giving you a minute. Can you interview Alyssa? I have a whole bunch of things. I can ask whoever I want. Okay, I will. All right. So I have this beautiful thank you card. I went to my mailbox. I never go, but I went and there was this gorgeous thank you card in here. And the person who sends me knows who she is. And also it was so cute. Her niece, I think if I got it right, her niece is makes they paint the stones and it has a teacher theme. And if you don't already know, I'm a teacher. I'm also a terrible podcaster. I'm going to put my head down again and come back up with all the cute stones I have to show you. And when I lean down, can you see my bald spot in my hair? Okay. So she did little stones like this. Look, teachers rock. Ah! Oh, I dropped one. She did two on the chalkboard. 2 + 2 = 4. Look at the color blue crayon. I'm just showing you all because they're so cute. Pink eraser. Ah! Look at the pencil. Can't stand it. Ticonderoga, number 2. And then look, the notebook. And I do use these with my kiddos. Isn't that the cutest? Aren't they beautiful? It came at a time in this day. This day has been an emotional day. You know, my dad is in the hospital. He had a heart attack. He's still there. We wanted to send him to rehab, but he just can't do rehab yet because they can only, I know I'm telling you all this, but I'm telling you because you've been praying and it's a good thing. They only can control his heart with medicine. He's a young man, vibrant man, very in shape, and his heart was stunned, and it's just, it's just such a situation. His mind's great. We talk and all that, but it's just been what a day it has been. And some days I'm like, do I even want to do this? And I do want to do it. And then wonderful things like this happen. So thank you. All right. And by the way, I didn't do a drink today because I was just crazy running around. But I can't tell you if you haven't made it. Do you remember the one that was the blueberry? It's the Bouchard margarita, but I turned it into a lemonade. Oh my God, that recipe is so good. I drink it all the time. Thank you. I feel your prayers. They're the most important thing. Keep them coming. Keep them coming, please. Okay. Now, I have a number in my head because I only heard, and I could be wrong, but we're going to pretend I'm not. And at 9:02, I know how many times it was said. I know at 9:15 it was said, and at 9:27 it was said, and how many times. So when I add them all up together, I'm going to see the first person who gets it right. I hope you want a t-shirt. If you want something different, you could tell me that. I could put it on something else. So I'm just randomly going up to the top to see who got it first. Let me see. Let me look. Oh, Carrie, 4. By 9:09, it said it twice because there was like the governor and then someone else said the governor. 9:15, they said the governor, and at 9:27, they said the governor. So it's 4. And Carrie, if you want a t-shirt, let me know. If you want me to put it on a bag, let me know. If anybody wants a t-shirt or wants it on a bag or on a cup or a mug or whatever, let me know and I will do it for you. So, Carrie, we'll talk. Okay. All right. Yes, it was 4. It was 4. I saw your name all the way at the top. And thank you that you're all saying you'll keep praying for him. That's amazing. Yes, you do want a t-shirt. All right, girl. Message me with your measurements. I have to tell you, it runs small, but I don't need to use the company that I used for the t-shirt. Oh, I want a mug. Christina, send me a message. Okay. I'll give you whatever you want. Just don't write it here. Send me a message. We'll talk. All right. So I put it in pink because everything's pink this season. And I love pink, hence my pink room. Alrighty, I think I covered everything that I had wanted to cover. How many of you were surprised that Montague was attacked, or did you expect? I was surprised. I mean, as it was happening, I wasn't surprised, but how many of you were shocked that he was attacked? And I like that they put this in because it now in our head really does say, yeah, he's not involved. Anyone surprised? I thought he was just too Captain Obvious. I really did. And by the way, girls, I don't like to objectify men or women, but I have to tell you that Governor Bouchard was sharp in the the whole episode, but he looked so good. Something physically different about his hair, his face. I don't know what it was, but he just looked Like, and I think they did it on purpose. When he was broken and he was trying to recover, it was one thing, but he was the man of the hour. Give him the room. And he looked wonderful. Definitely surprised. Good, Stacy P. I like when people agree with me. Thank you. Yes, and he has his fire back. He does. And then he's going to need someone. He's going to be deflated. I feel like he's just going to be, hey, they're going to come together. I know I say this, I repeat myself all the time, but I really think that Chris McNally probably has the most expensive wardrobe. He is like the best dressed man. Lee used to be the best dressed man, but we got the Gov totally beautifully dressed. Yes, he's back in full force, but I feel like at the end, hey YouTube user, thank you for saying you'll pray for my dad. I feel like at the end, he's going to need some TLC. He's really had it. He starts off being shot. So his body, his heart, his spirit was broken. He has this big idea. He's worried. He's scared for his town, our home, our town. I love that. And he drove that into them. And by the end, I mean, I'm sure that somebody's going to like try to take his life again. And we're going to find out all that nonsense. And I hope that it's not Janette or someone, that he knows from his past that he cared about that would hurt him even more. Question, how much people really don't like him, but they do. And I have to tell you that Edwin is a piece of work. I love the Edwin and Henry. It's like good cop, bad cop, the two of them. I love that cabinet and that team. Cindy, you volunteer? Lucas is always styling. I'm still voting for Lucas's hero story. Did I miss it? I'm still waiting. Sorry, waiting for Lucas's hero story. Did I miss it? Oh, yes, Lillian. He is trying. He is trying, frustrated currently, so definitely needs a friendship to help through it all. He does. Like a good conversation with Henry, a little TLC. Maybe he goes away for a little TLC, and that is how he meets some fancy, delicious, young woman that they can have a great romance for. I don't know. I'm thinking Walden and his goons, or Amos. I think we all are. And we had said that before. Montague was very shocked by his attack, and so was I, still thinking it was Slimy Walden. I really do think, though, this is the part that makes me think like it has something to do. I go back and forth with this. It has something to do with Amos Dixon. And the reason why I say that is because Janette's there, right? And that would be a tie-in with Janette. Maybe he tries to attack her. Also, it is a tie-in with, remember Amos, he said he kind of like, he didn't know who he could trust, Lucas said, not even the Mounties, because he has a lot of friends in a lot of places, meaning there were corrupt Mounties. And I would love it because it would tie in a Nathan thing from before. Hargraves, remember the look this is when things repeat like this again and again and again, normally in writing, but I still don't trust it. Normally it's a sign. So when you look at things in retrospect, you're like, oh, but if we've been paying attention, the mother of the person who's supposed to tip, Pike's mother, mentions the Mounties being a problem. And then as they're taking Pike away and they're saying the Mounties could surely protect you, the look on his face. So that's the only thing that makes me think that it's connected to Amos because of what's been written in the past. Let's see. I'm with you, Roxanne. I think it's Dixon too. Now, well, they said it was someone powerful. Yes. Now, if they're going to go with someone like Wyman, why is Pastor Joseph talking? Why is it giving him support? Because their paths haven't crossed yet. It's not like Joseph jumps in and Joseph's a pastor. People usually are there, has the opportunity, and they come to him. Who knows? Maybe he will in the end. We don't know. Not yet. I guess they're yes, and Hargraves was after Nathan. Okay, so back to this. Now, if it was going to be Wyman, whoever he worked for, we never found that out. That kind of fell off. He had that connection with the Pinkertons. We never exactly found out who was living in that cabin. That story kind of fell away. But what if it was Wyman and whoever his powerful person is? Maybe the powerful person was Amos Dixon. They could go back and make that. We don't know. They could tie them all together in a knot. I don't know, but we'll see. All right. So where do you think the hanky that he dropped in episode 1 fits in? Is that a clue? I don't know, Nikki. Isn't that a great question? I'm wondering myself too. So I have all kinds of crazy theories about that. And one of the things that I was thinking, maybe it's Lucas's father. I don't think Lucas's father would hurt him. Um, I'm thinking I don't know. But if it were me and I was writing this and that was a clue, I think it would be something that would jog Lucas's memory. So it would be that hanky, which was Elizabeth's. And I don't know if he gave it to her. We don't know if it was a gift. We don't know. It could be that maybe that was a gift that he gave her, right? So maybe Janette mentions it or has it and picked it up. That would mean that Janette was there when he was unconscious visiting, and she was visiting him, and that might spur more, like maybe she knows more. I don't know. They could go that way. Or it could be that she has it and Elizabeth sees it and says something to Lucas about it. I always thought it could be a clue for someone who was there to pick it up and have it now, and there and the rest of them didn't know. But that's just me as a writer. That's what I would do. I could have my husband talk to him, but I got to be there too. Henry is a good wingman. Lucas did say that Amos had friends in high places. That's why he didn't trust anyone when he came to Hope Valley. Yep, that's what I was talking about. Why is there no church service? That's weird, especially for that time. Why is there no church service, Kathy? There's no church service. There's no real school. What did the Mountie do? The Mountie did nada. The Mountie hasn't been a Mountie for I don't know how long. Yeah, I know. You know what it is? They have to prioritize things and they have to think of us. We imagine that it's going on and it's there. And they've got too many, of the big story arc stories going on. And I feel like it's getting away from them a little bit. So, yeah. Yep. Spurlock and Walden were tight. You got it. It could be all of them together in a knot. I don't know. That's just where I'm going with this. All right, friends. Almost 40 minutes of us chatting because it was exciting. I hope you join me tomorrow. I have a lot to say, especially with the whole Lily story and what's happening in the next episode too. Who do you think was watching with the binoculars? I don't know. Margie? I don't know. It could be Janette was watching. It could be, I think it's whoever attacked him, and whoever those peeps are. Yep. I don't know who it is. It's all that speculating we were doing. I don't know if anybody here knows. All right. I don't know if anyone has any other questions, but forever hold your peace. What time tomorrow? Michelle, the usual time. It's always at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern. The plot thickens. Dun, 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 dun. It does. All right. Good night. Have a good one. Thank you for the prayers.